See, when I tell you that the enemy's gonna try their hardest to stop you from doing what you need to do and or hinder you, to get you irritated, to mess up your man, listen, I tried to do this video 2 times and it wouldn't even get to a minute. So I'm like, okay, that means that the storage is out. So then I do that, then the other video is not trying to load. Then I'm like, where was I even at? So the last thing I remember before the other cards was me sitting there saying that, you know, I watch tarot, but now that I'm going publicly with doing tarot, because I was only doing tarot for myself, and other things like that, I think I'm a back and or completely stop watching other tarot readers or whatever, give or take, because I'm finding, a lot of tarot readers, they're like, oh, I watch so and so, and I may have watched the same person too, but they're like, oh, they channel this message and this message, da da da, and nothing's wrong with that. There's a lot of great tarot readers, a lot of spiritual workers, and I don't want to put a label on anything because labels do not define anything. Labels just define the label at the store. 1 second. I'm just gonna sit there and say, if there's another interruption, I will prevail. I got this far because I'm telling you, I've been through, as you probably have too. Sorry, let me fix myself up. Been through many trials and tribulations, but you know, one thing I gotta say is we really do have to practice. Before I get to the other thing, we really do have to practice what we preach, because we can give and or take advice, but it doesn't mean that we're actually going to use the advice that was given. And I say that to say, we need to practice what we preach, because we can give advice to somebody else that's good advice, but that same advice we may not take. We'll be quick to tell a homegirl, oh, leave that dude because he ain't ish, when we know we got a dude who ain't ish. It may not be the same ain't ish as your homegirl's ain't ish dude, but your dude ain't ish and you still rocking with him, or vice versa, fit yourself where it goes. But to come back full circle to what I was originally saying, everybody's good in their own craft, whatever it is, even if it's not spiritual work, if you're a mechanic, but to sit there and take somebody else's craft and then do your own spin with it, and then you're telling, like, yeah, you're giving credit, but I just feel like when it comes to the tarot reading, it's a touchy thing, because then you're picking up on that person's reading. Like, anybody can sit there and come and say, oh, I got a channeled message that X, Y, and Z, da 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 da, and it's just somebody who's scamming because they see now that the tarot reading, oracle reading, and all that other stuff is hitting, it's doing numbers, it's bringing in an income. So now people are picking up other people's reading, dispersing it as their own, but they don't know anything of what they're talking about, and or they do know what they're talking about, but they're channeling that energy. So it's like the channeled message, instead of having 2+ separate channel messages, now it's just one channel message, just 2 people. 1 second. I do not know 404 when it just came back. I do not know if I'm going to play this back. But when I tell you I just had another interruption, that's crazy. So, how I look at it, and it doesn't mean my way is the right way, but I just feel like, okay, you have one person who is getting all these downloads. Now you have a good tarot reader, channeler, whatever, who's going to watch another good tarot reader, but now you just filled yourself with those channels, so now you're just regurgitating those channeled messages instead of, so let's say that first person, so person A got 10 downloads and they channeled them. Now, person B, because both are good, but person B is going to watch person A. Now, they're regurgitating those 10 channeled messages, but good messages, but they're regurgitating those 10 channeled messages, whether they're doing it however they do it, instead of just doing their own channeled messages. And they could have got 5, they could have got 2, they could have got 10, or even 20. So now that's what I said, minimum of like 2. So that could have been at least 12 to 30 channeled messages between 2 people. That's how I look at it, you know? So, and I'm not right. You don't gotta listen to me or whatever. But I just feel like as tarot readers, if you know you're gonna channel that day or whatever, don't watch any other tarot readers. Maybe on your day off or one day, or, you know, because nothing's wrong with people giving credit. Like, hey, I watched so-and-so and they channeled this. But it's like, from what I'm learning and stuff and my knowledge and all that, my team who's telling me certain things, and it's working for them. So I'm not telling people to switch up. If it works, don't break it. I mean, don't fix it. You can tweak it, but you don't need to if it works for you, you know? I don't know. I'm sorry. So yeah. So anyway, so the Most High, you know, is always going to do what it needs to do. And in the earthly realm, remember, king, queen, all that is just the energy, you know, page, night, and all that. In the earth realm, my team is letting me know what I need to do, and I'm taking action on it. It's coming in quick. Past life, my family, however you want to look at it, and not my 3D family, but in this sense, with these, with these, it's my ancestors, my lineage, my past lives, all, you know, here, letting me know. And that puts me in the King of Wands in the leadership position, because the government can't feed me illusions. See, in the upright, and again, I apologize for the lighting, this is the 7 of Cups. In the upright, this is choices, illusions, this and that. In the reverse, it's reality, clarity. They can't keep me fogged up in illusions. I forget how it was. I think it was like this, or maybe it was like this. And then when I play it back, but either way, because you can read it however it's channeled to you. But they can no longer, I believe it was like this, they can no longer feed me illusions. They fed me illusions for far too long, but my intuition already kicked in as well. So everything that they did to me, from, like, if people are familiar with back pay, you know, if you go, I'm gonna just use like child support or whatever, people who file for child support, mother or father, you go, you file, of course the situation doesn't get handled right then and there, you go, the judge rules in a parent's favor. Now say this parent had gone to court and started that case in 2010, and now it's 2026 and it's starting. Back pay is going all the way back to your original application date. And it could differ, because it could be the application date, it could be the first date of the hearing in court, so on and so forth, because back pay doesn't just pertain to the courts. But you sit there and you filed in 2010 for whatever reason. It took 16 years, but I can believe that with this corrupt judicial system. But anyway, so now you have 16 years worth of back pay that year to receive, up until current, and then ongoing, if not paid in the thing. And that's not what the cards are saying. I'm just in there saying that the government, I'm in the lead. They can no longer feed me illusions. They did for a minute. They were in the lead because they were feeding me illusions, and it was a long time. My intuition, I'm just now getting into the spirituality stuff, you know? I'm not religious. I can say I'm spiritual before I'm religious. I wasn't raised in a church, don't know anything about the church, don't know anything about the Bible either. I'm learning I didn't know anything about the Bible. I'm self-teaching myself and my children. More myself first, so I know, and then I'm going to go to my children. Although I can, you know, my children are younger, so they can and they can't. Well, they can sit with me And it may be doing them a disservice to not have them sit with me now, although that they don't understand the way I think they should, but they still understand because children are smarter than us. But either way, so now, because, my intuition kicked in and I'm doing what I need to do, now they gotta back pay. And another thing too, when it comes to channeling anything, you can have two mechanics at the job, but they're both gonna do their job different, you know. So I don't know. I'm just trying to motivate somebody, the next person, and it doesn't have to be tarot. It doesn't have to be anything spiritual. Just, you know, there's several thousands, trillions, cajillion people who came before you. The reason why you're being called to do something is because someone in your lineage has passed that baton to you. You want to play the piano, your friends aren't into the piano, who cares? Somebody in your lineage passed that down to you. Granted, the Most High gave you guys the gift to do it, but somebody in your lineage, in addition to the Most High passed it to your ancestors passing it to you. Whatever it is, you want to be a chef, you want to be a nurse, you want to be a flight attendant, you want to be an entrepreneur, somebody in your lineage had that idea, whether they did it or not, and they passed it down to you. It doesn't matter what your friends think, because that gift and or gifts are going to take you out of your situation. And I'm talking like, I'm there, but you have to talk like you're there. See, I come from a family where it's a scarcity mindset, it's a poverty mindset, it's a crab in a barrel mindset. In addition to me being, who I am, which I'm still learning to who I am at 33 every day. And I've always said, like, until you have no more breath in you, you're not learning. But the soul lives on, so you're still learning. Souls don't even trend. I'm going on a rant. I apologize. But I'm going to finish my last 3 minutes like this. The soul still lives on. The vessel's decaying to dust to go back to the earth, but the soul lives on. Who do you think ascended masters are? Who do you think aliens, galactic beings, are? If you never went to school for something, and it's easy for us to always use children as an example, but even us, if you never went to school for something, but you just know how to do it, where do you think you got that from? Now, ladies, I'm going to just use it for, conversation purposes. And some may say I'm a little sexist. I'm not trying to be like that, but just for easy conversation. Women are usually in the kitchen. We know that. But usually women have office jobs. But you've never been to your mom's office job to see how she does it. But for whatever reason, you're into accounting or some type of office job. Whether it's a customer rep, whatever. Now you come along, get into that, you know how to work the phone, you know how to type 90-something words per minute, this, that, and thing, you're good with numbers due to like school and stuff, like you got your basic education up, up till 12th grade, maybe you furthered it to college, okay, but let's just say you got the basic 12, and you know how to do all that. And you may not want to go work for the next person. You want to work for yourself. Now you just started a business of being an answering service for people and or doing QuickBooks, which is like the accounting for businesses and stuff like that. But it's your business. You know how to do all that, but it's your business. You're not working for somebody else. Now, your mother sees how good you're doing, and now your mother wants to work for you. Whether you want to do that or not, hey, to each his own. My family wouldn't get a dime out of me just the way how they've done me, and I wouldn't mix that. 1 second.
Okay.
But the moral of the story, because every story has one. Yes, another interruption. Now, your mother or anybody wants to work for you. They didn't see your vision. And not everybody has the mental capacity, the mental bandwidth, the intellectual capacity and bandwidth, whatever. It's still the same thing. to see beyond just what's right there. You know, some people just see what's in their vicinity. They don't think outside the box. You know, there's somebody who's okay, a lot of people who's okay with getting the CEO richer, and then they just pass the baton to a different CEO. 15 on the timer.